Hey, Think Realty, thanks so much for watching and viewing today, the podcast. I'm super excited to be your host today. Eddie Wilson, the founder of Think Realty. Founded it in 2013 for real estate investors. As a third generation real estate investor, I just really wanted to provide content for you that you're never going to find on Yahoo News or CNBC or all those channels out there, because they're specifically talking about retail investing. And we talk about real estate investing from an investor's perspective. We always bring great guests and content to you. Before I introduce you to our guest today, I want to say a quick thank you to our podcast sponsor, which is CV3 Financial. CV3 Financial Services. When you're taking on a new real estate investment project, having a trusted lender is key. Count on CV3 for your fix and flip, rental, cash out, or refi and term refi needs. Visit cv3financial.com/Think Realty. And make sure you give them a visit, tell them thank you for sponsoring the podcast and being a great partner with us. Our guest today is Tara. Tara, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
From Digital Trust.
Digital Trust.
And coming from the great state of Kentucky.
Yes, so Digital Trust is based in Las Vegas, but I'm in Kentucky.
Very cool. So recently, there's been a lot of movement in the marketplace. And you guys were recently, what was the current transaction, the recent transaction that you guys just went through?
Yes, so previously I've been with Kingdom Trust for 11 years, so that's a qualified custodian based out of South Dakota. And we were recently acquired by an overarching company called Wow FinTech, and they own Digital Trust, and so we're merging with Digital Trust now.
Awesome, very cool.
So 2 teams, 1 company.
Forces unite.
It's going to be great.
That's awesome.
So excited.
So, if you're a real estate investor and you're not using the tax-free strategies and accounts of self-direction, you're missing out on one of the greatest opportunities that we've had in our lifetime to not only avoid the massive taxation of Uncle Sam when we're transacting real estate business, but also missing one of the greatest tools to pass on wealth to the next generation. Give us kind of like the 30-second overview of why self-directed IRAs.
Taxes. Tax-deferred vehicle to invest in. So the biggest thing about investing in your self-directed IRA is that you can defer those taxes, and especially if you're doing it in a Roth IRA.
Sure.
I always say, I'm from Kentucky, so we say a Roth IRA is better than sliced bread. So
shouldn't it be like better than bourbon?
Yeah, I guess.
Don't
tell anybody that I'm a Kentuckian that doesn't like bourbon. You're able to, in a self-directed IRA, you can invest in things you know and things you trust, not something that a middleman is telling you that you should invest in, and then you're paying him a certain percent to tell you that. You can direct those things yourself, and those gains can be tax deferred completely in a Roth, or at least tax deferred over the life of the IRA.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
For those people listening and watching, many of them are high W-2 earners. They've got 1 rental property, 5 rental properties. That's the bulk of the Think Realty viewer. And then we've got the top ones that maybe they've got apartment complexes, and that's probably the top 20%. And we got a few that are just kind of putting their toe in trying to figure this out. For me, the only way that I would have been able to, I have over 4,000 doors now. And for me, the only way that I would have been able to do that without massive taxation is through this concept, right? So walk them through just real quick. If you had a self-directed IRA, what does it look like for your IRA to own your property? Does it get to capture all of the rental returns? What happens if you sell a property? Just walk us through the basic structure.
Yeah, so if you have a property or any type of real estate, really, you can purchase that through your IRA. All of the profit from that property comes back into your IRA and then is tax deferred in that vehicle. The only thing you can't do, obviously, is self-deal.
Sure.
Which
is there's rules on making sure there's arm's length transactions and making sure you can't go, up, down, or out. It's like
any
something
linear.
Any linear. It's like mother, father,
and kiddos.
Son, daughter, And so you have to be careful. But obviously that's your custodian kind of keep you, on the straight and narrow there.
Yep.
But obviously you guys aren't going to give investing advice. But you're going to keep them compliant.
Correct. If you're doing fix and flips and there's payments that need to be made out of the IRA, those don't come out of your pocket. They come out of the IRA, and so all of that is untapped earnings that you're not able to use with direct capital.
Sure, understood. Now, what happens if I actually sell a property? Is there capital gains?
No.
Okay. All still tax deferred.
Yes.
And that's the crazy thing, right? It's like, it's like if I actually sell a property, it's like I don't have to pay capital gains.
Right.
Which is like the game that a lot of real estate investors are playing. It's like, should I sell or should I refi, right? And it's like when you put it into your self-directed IRA, you don't have to worry about it.
Just buy the next thing.
You can just buy the next thing.
Right.
You can refi it. You can pull the money out and you can go buy something. Or you could sell it and you could go buy something bigger.
Right.
And that's the benefit, is that it really takes the burden of the taxation out of the real estate
Right.
transaction, which is awesome.
Yes.
And so you get to start taking money out at 59.5. Is that the?
59.5 is the earliest you can take it.
Yeah.
With a Roth, you have to have had that IRA, that Roth IRA for 5 years, and then you can take it.
Got it. Now, a person that's in their 30s, I'll give you a scenario. You tell me maybe some suggested opportunities. They're in their 30s. I'm switching jobs. I've got 401k, and I'm considering rolling it over into something self-directed. But if I put 50 grand in there and I buy a rental property and it starts yielding, like, I'm not going to get that money till retirement. Is it still worth it for me? Is there a way to get to that money? Is there anything I can do? Or is this just a game for the future?
It's definitely a game for the future. You could get to that money if you needed it. If you're with your company and you have a 401k, there are certain guidelines and parameters that keep you from taking any money if you needed it. You can take it in the IRA. You're going to have a penalty, but you can take it. But the play is a long play for your future.
And I know that there's opportunities that you can borrow against it potentially, or do things like that if there was something that you wanted to go leverage and purchase or whatever.
A lot of real estate investors will use a non-recourse loan, which you can do within the IRA.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know of a better vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So kind of give me the pitch on why digital trust, right? Like, what do you guys do different? What is it? What's your fee structures look like? Because most of the people that are listening to this and they've got a 401k or they've got a financial planner, they're used to paying their financial planner fees on whether they made money, they lost money, any transaction that happens, right? Like, help them understand what the fee structure, what it looks like to be a part of your organization.
Yeah, so the difference with digital trust that I think that you don't get with other custodians is customer service. I think even though we're called digital trust, we're very personable and we're selling a service, not necessarily a product. So you're gonna get a human to talk to on the phone. You're gonna be given a white glove treatment to go through the process. And then our fees, I guarantee that will be any fee.
Guarantee you'll be any
Absolutely.
fee. I like that. And so fees typically are annualized and then based on the movement of money. So you have transaction fees and stuff like that.
Correct. So there's just a flat annual rate for the IRA, and then there's a one-time fee when we make the transaction purchase.
Sure,
there's no fee for any money coming back in or any profit returns.
Yeah, very good. That's awesome.
Simple.
Well, awesome. How do they get a hold of Digital Trust? How do they find out more about you?
Absolutely. Well, if we wouldn't be Digital Trust if we didn't have a website. So it's just digitaltrust.com.
Okay.
And then they can reach out to me anytime. My information's on the Think Realty website, or not website.
It'll be
but
on
the
this
app.
podcast too.
And it'll be on this podcast too.
Yep,
So great.
very good. Thank you
That's
so
how
much
it
for
is.
supporting
Thank
us
you.
and being a part of the event.
I appreciate it.
I'm a huge advocate of kind of the SDIRA world. To me, it's one of the greatest gifts. I believe my father and grandfather gave me two great gifts. One, the passion for real estate, because I wouldn't have the wealth and all the things that I have today if it wasn't for real estate. But number two, the knowledge in the self-directed space, right?
Absolutely.
I own companies in my self-directed IRA. I own real estate in my self-directed IRA. I own crypto in my real estate.
Yeah.
I own
And
metals.
it can all be in one self-directed
it's
IRA.
So crazy.
You don't need multiple.
So crazy.
Good.
Metals. I also have, you go super deep. I've got my self-directed health plans. I've got all kinds of crazy stuff, and I love that world.
We have a client that has bulls.
Yeah.
And the stud fee comes back. So it's really the best opportunity to invest. Obviously, we love real estate here. It's the best opportunity to invest in things that you know and that you understand.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yep, awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much, Think Realty, for being a part of the podcast today. If you have not already set up your self-directed IRA, go to Digital Trust. Check them out. You don't have to start big. You don't have to roll your entire 401k over. But you know what? Maybe you invest the minimums. Maybe you put $4,000 or $5,000 in a year. Maybe you actually max out the account. But you know what? It's great to start now because that money will compound, and without taxation, it's going to stay larger than everything else you're doing. So I really encourage you to take advantage of learning more about self-directed IRAs and exploring that. And please go explore Digital Trust. Thanks so much for being a part of the podcast today. Have a great day and happy investing.